Yo, what is up guys, my name's Hakiii and in this video we have the best vehicles under different price points in GTA Online, going from the cheapest of cheap vehicles to the most expensive ones by far. So we literally have to go for the cheapest option out there, which is going to be a free vehicle. So you can say this is the best vehicle under $1, and that's going to be the Duke of Death. Kind of surprising that for literally a free vehicle you get an armored one that's both explosive and bullet resistant, so you do have some window plating, especially in the passenger seat. The driver's seat is a little bit more exposed, but it's still got something on there. And it takes a few missiles to blow this thing up, so it's not going to blow up right away basically. Now it's usually a couple $100,000 in the Warstock website, but to get it for free, all you need to do is connect your GTA account to your Rockstar Social Club account, and then you should see it as completely free. And let me just show you guys that this thing does have some explosive resistance. So let's put a sticky bomb on it. Let's blow it up once, and the vehicle is completely fine. Let's put it on the inside and see if it actually ends up blowing up. There's a cop over here that's shooting us. I don't know why he's sitting like that, but let's go ahead and blow the vehicle up. And okay, so it's 2 sticky bomb explosions. For a free vehicle, that's definitely the best you're gonna get. So let's move on to the next budget. Next one is the best vehicle under $100,000, and this one's going to be a motorcycle. Quick honorable mention to the BF400. I think that's just under $100,000. That's a great off-roading bike. Why did you just run over my bike? What is going on with these NPCs? Anyway, we have the Baddie 801 motorcycle that's well under $100,000, coming in at only 15,000 bucks. And this is such a good beginner vehicle because you're going to be spending more money on the upgrades of this thing than actually buying it in the first place, which is kind of crazy honestly. And it's a great stunting motorcycle. You can pull wheelies with it, and I do use it for completing regular time trials quite a lot. You can get $100,000 with that, and overall, if you're looking for a fast vehicle, this is probably the best option out there for any type of cheap vehicle. Of course, you can go for the LG RH8, but I do think the Baddie 801 is a little bit faster. Completing, let's say, the regular time trial, getting 100,000 bucks from that, and you already made a profit off this thing out. You can find this one in the Southern San Andreas website. Highly recommend it. There's also a version of it with the livery that's the same price, so you can go for pretty much whichever one. Next budget is going to be under $500,000, and I couldn't choose just one for this one, so I'm gonna go for 2 different options. First one is the cheaper one, which is the Camacho. You can get it for only $345,000, and this is such a good bang for your buck vehicle, one of the best off-roaders in the entire game. And let me tell you, compared to the competition, it is way cheaper than all of the other ones. On top of the $345K, of course, you're going to be spending a bit on customization, and let me tell you, the customization is absolutely amazing. One of the most customizable cheap vehicles we have in this game. Not only is it fast, it's got some great traction, so performance is amazing, plus customizing it is also very fun. It's actually difficult to find a downside with this vehicle. 25 different categories to customize with some truck bed options, different livery options, which is always nice. I'm a big fan of different liveries on vehicles. Patriotic one actually covers like the entire car, and you have more of a rusty version. Some cool hood options like putting an axe and a shovel on this thing. You never really see that. The door options are also super unique with this thing, so you can make kind of like Jurassic Park mobile looking doors. I just went for the regular options, so you can make this car look so many different ways. Absolutely love this one. This is one option for under 500K. The other option is much more of a high-end and much more luxurious vehicle, but it's still under 500K, which is kind of surprising. That's the Toros, or the Lamborghini Urus in real life. This thing is an absolute beauty, one of the best looking vehicles in the game, and it holds an absolutely ridiculous top speed for an SUV. It actually loses control once you start hitting that top speed, especially if you put a clean paint job on it, like for example a crew chrome like this, or honestly it could look good with so many different paint jobs like the matte black. You can also put it in white. If you want to make it look very luxurious, I think the cream paint job is actually a great option. This one comes in at $498,000, so just under 500K. Under 750,000, we have the best beginner supercar you can get out there. That's going to be the Pegassi Zentorno. Only $725,000, and to this day it is really worth the money. I cannot drive, by the way. Like the Camacho, it's a great bang for your buck vehicle and definitely worth every penny. Really good performance for the price of it. I mean, it's got great handling, good speed, it looks awesome, and with a recent DLC it actually got extra customization just because it came out such a long time ago and it kind of lacked that a bit, so Rockstar decided to add a bit. So the customization is also great. Every beginner in GTA Online has to own this vehicle, and if you have a lot of money, might as well buy this cheap one anyway. The exhaust options are amazing. You have some dual ones, some single ones, some quad ones. We do have some liveries, of course. You guys know I absolutely love liveries. 13 different spoiler options. That is a lot. Before the extra customization, this thing had barely like a couple. We have this split wing one, which is not even connected in the middle of it. That's pretty interesting. Absolutely love the Zentorno. Anyway, let's move on to the next one. Finding one for under $1 million was kind of a tough one, not gonna lie, but I went for the Hakiii drag motorcycle. It's just under $1 million, coming in at $976,000. And the thing with this bike is you can actually upgrade it into HSW, which would end up costing more than $1 million, but because of the base price being $976K, I guess you could still use this as the regular version. It's got some amazing traction, super glued to the ground, and it's great for regular time trials as well. Whenever you do get the money to upgrade it into HSW, I guess you can do that with this one. And if you do put the HSW upgrade on it inside of the LS car meet, it's going to be one of the fastest lane vehicles in general. It's going to have a super high top speed. I am absolutely zooming around the map, and it's actually my top choice for completing HSW time trials. Those are going to get you over $250,000 for completing, so great for money making too. Under the $1.5 million price tag, we have the Night Shark. That's, I believe, just under $1.25 million. This is pretty much a big brother version of the Duke of Death. It's just better in every way possible. It takes about 6 homing missiles to blow this thing up, so some good explosive resistance, plus the window plating is much better than the Duke of Death. I mean, it's pretty freaking hard to shoot you, especially if you duck inside of the vehicle. If someone's shooting you with an AR, it's going to be much more difficult for them to do anything. The only downside with this thing is you can't throw out explosives if you have the window plating, but lucky for you, you actually have a machine gun equipped on the front of this thing, so if you press LB or L1 on PlayStation, you can start lighting some vehicles up. It's not the strongest thing in the world, but if you really want to blow up a street vehicle, it's gonna take like maybe a minute. This Night Shark's a fantastic option for completing different missions where you have a bunch of NPCs shooting you. One of the best options for completing different missions in Heist. On top of that, it's pretty freaking fast, I will say. It's got some great handling, and of course a good ramming capability since it is a bit more heavy than your typical car. So definitely recommend this one if you have just about 1.25 million bucks. Let's move on to the next budget. That's going to be $2 million. We're getting really serious now. Under $2 million was actually a very tough one. There's so many good options under 2 million bucks, but I decided to go for my absolute favorite off-road vehicle in the game, the Canis Terminus. The most realistic looking Jeep we have in the game, has a bunch of customization. The Terminus is hands down one of the best vehicles to customize in the entire game. That's for non-Benny's vehicles, of course. There are so many categories to customize and a bunch of different unique options, like 11 different door options. That is so many. A ton of hood options. Of course, we're gonna have some really nice looking liveries on this one. You can even customize the spare wheel in the back, which actually makes a huge difference. I actually love that option. 10 out of 10 customization on top of 10 out of 10 performance. It is the most expensive off-roader in the game, coming in at, I believe, about 1.9 million, but considering it's got the best customization, the best performing, and in my opinion also the best looks, you really can't go wrong with this thing. The second option for under 2 million bucks is going to be a muscle car, and that's the Vigero ZX, which I feel like is a fan favorite in the community. If you hold RB or R1 on PlayStation and then press the gas button, you can actually do an insane wheelie with this thing. I'm so bad of actually consistently keeping up the wheelie, but if you want to try it, feel free to give it a go. One of the best looking muscle cars in the entire game, and performance wise it's absolutely amazing. Crazy top speed for a muscle car, and like the Hakiii drag, it's also HSW upgradable, so if you want to end up spending more money than 2 million, you can, but it's just nice that it is upgradable with that option. And that basically makes this vehicle way faster and makes it by far the fastest muscle car in the game. And besides the crazy top speed, it's also a really good drifting vehicle. If you want to drift with this thing, this is one of the best vehicles out there for it. Great for car meets, great for drift meets, great for muscle car races, so all around super good car. Under the $3 million price point now, to get there I actually have to take a whole helicopter. It isn't the Sparrow helicopter, but it is going to be the Kosaka submarine. I do consider it technically a vehicle. You can't just ride it around, even though there is a whole business inside of it and there's a lot you can do. It's one of those vehicles that actually have a lot to do inside of it. There's a couple of those. It's one of those vehicles that also act as a business, so I technically still consider it under 3 million bucks and still a vehicle. What a lot of new players nowadays do is literally just save up $2.2 million buy the Kosaka, and then ongoingly grind the Cayo Perico heist. On top of having the best heist in the game, you can also fast travel with this thing. If you go and sit down, you can be at a bunch of different locations around the map. And one of my favorite features with this place is the remote controlled missile launching station. You use both the right and the left stick to maneuver with this thing. It's a little bit difficult, but it's super good and super overpowered if you ask me. Not enough people use this thing. If you get the hang of it, you can actually be super effective with it, and players can't really do anything about it since it's a remote controlled missile, so really tough to defend against that. An extension of the Kosaka is the Sparrow helicopter, even though it would take you over $3 million, but it is another plus if you have the money, if you have more than $3 million. Then for the budget of under $5 million spent, we have the fully upgraded HSW Banshee GTS. This thing holds the record for the fastest top speed amongst all land vehicles. For having such a ridiculously high top speed, it's got some decent handling. Of course, it's not going to be the greatest, but relative to the top speed, it's actually pretty manageable. To buy this thing in the first place, I believe it's about $2 million, and then you're going to be spending another few million for the HSW upgrade, and then all the performance upgrades. It's going to get you into the mid $4 millions range, so just within $5 million bucks, you can get a fully upgraded HSW version of the Banshee GTS. Currently, this is the ultimate must-have vehicle to own. I just ramped that guy, what the hell? Until we get a vehicle that actually beats this thing's top speed, this is definitely the #1 option, not only for sports cars, but just for cars in general in this game. It looks super sick, it's got some great customization, and performance really does speak for itself. Anyway, let's move on to the ultimate budget in this game, and some of you guys might already be able to guess what this is. This is going to be the Oppressor Mark II that used to be way cheaper. I believe the previous price of this thing was about $4 million, but Rockstar raised it to a mind-blowing $8 million just so less people could actually get their hands on it, just because it used to be even more overpowered. Not only did the price get way more expensive, but the missile tracking got nerfed pretty heavy, so locking onto different things, it's not going to be very accurate at all. Like, there's way better missile tracking vehicles than the Oppressor Mark II, but the Oppressor Mark II is still super convenient for doing missions or just roaming around the map. This is just my #1 option, really. I do consider it under $8 million just because the trade price is actually $6 million, so if you manage to get the trade price, definitely go for it. Base price is going to be sitting at $8 million bucks, which is a ton of money. After watching this video, you're probably going to want to know the fastest vehicles in general in this game. I hope you all enjoy that video, and peace.